Hi, Dr. Paul Haider here. I had a man call me the other day. My phone number is down below. If you want to call me, feel free. He had some health issues and also wanted to know how to make his life better. He's a writer and he does ghostwriting for people, but life was not going well because he didn't have much in the way of work. And very interesting. And I said, well, why are you doing ghostwriting? Why don't you do your own writing? He says, I'm not very interesting. I don't have much of anything to say. I was like, what? Uh, right away, that was a big point that came up. I don't have anything to say. And also, he had a condition where his hands and arms get cold all the time, and he wanted to move to a place which was even colder. And I said, are you listening to your body? Wouldn't it be better to move someplace warmer, like maybe like Hawaii or something like that? He said, yeah, I would love to do that, but I also love this area, but it's really cold. And so a lot of times we don't listen to the messages that are being given to us by God. We're supposed to live in a warm place. And so what do? We move the opposite. Very interesting. Uh, I think a lot of times people don't listen to that still small voice. It's bodily things also, and God is talking to us all the time, but we tend just to ignore it on a regular basis. And if he is not really confident in his ability to give anything to anybody else, how is he supposed to become a great writer? That's really difficult. We really need to find what makes us excited about life, to the point where we would do it no matter what, even if we didn't get paid and all kinds of things. Most artists and most writers and poets and people who just have something that they're excited about, even scientists and different things, they would do it no matter what, even though they were starving. And I knew a lot of them that were. But eventually they do get to a place where they're comfortable and they're doing well. And so, you know, you have to look at Hemingway and Picasso and some of the great artists and poets, and look at some of them and see that some of their lives were not easy, especially at the beginning. But eventually they got to a place where they were happy. The biggest part is finding out about ourselves. If we don't know ourselves, how can we ever be happy? And this is what this man really needs to delve into. And I recommended, learning meditation, because if you have questions about yourself, the best way to really find out about yourself is to go inward. And when we have the mind going in the background all the time, it really makes it impossible to find those answers, because it's just clicking away, click, 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 and it's always distracting us from getting to what's really important. And it's doing that on purpose, tell you the truth, because it doesn't want you to find that, because this is the opposite of what is the epitome of peace. So it wants to keep you busy all the time so you can't find it. And it's the ego there which is driving you in the opposite direction and driving everybody in the opposite direction. So it's allowing ourselves to find that great peace inside, which connects us to something which is perfection, the ability to find truth, to find love, to find peace, and to find that which is super important to us in a deep and amazing way. And then we find things to talk about, especially to strangers, and things to write about. Then we find things that are oozing up out of us and have to be, you know, expressed to other people. And if you ever been around an artist and all of a sudden he gets an inspiration, or a writer and they get an inspiration, they got to go do it now, because later it will disappear. And I've known people who were great writers who ended up for a while in the beginnings of their career, ended up living in very meager situations and they wouldn't give up because they knew this was their destiny. And they had something wonderful to express. And eventually people were inspired by what they had to express. And because they were so enthusiastic about this that they gathered other people in and allowed that enthusiasm to be expressed in the other people, and they became enthusiastic and gathered around them. Now, if a person is not enthusiastic about life and doesn't have anything to say, how are they going to gather a group of people? I don't think so. It's not going to happen. A person wants to become a great writer, you're going to have to express what you need to say deep down inside. And this is a very important, super important. I think that's the crux of the matter. We're expressing what the Creator wanted us to say no matter what. And we have to get that out. We have to emote it. We have to express it. And no matter what that is, a lot of times that doesn't go with the society in general. So we have to say what that is. And a lot of times we're not going to be popular for a while until society changes. And it usually does. It's really interesting that you'll be doing something, you know what I mean? And I take, for instance, I was saving up food because then I knew sooner or later one of these storms is going to come. And, Maria mowed over Puerto Rico, and I wasn't very popular with people because, what are you doing putting away food for? Well, all of a sudden I became popular. Oh, you're right. And so you have to remember the winds of society blow in different directions, whatever seems to be their fancy, and you have to stay your course no matter what the winds are. And so you have to keep moving forward. And if this is what you want to do, keep moving forward with it. And, it's not to say that you may change your mind later. Most people after about 10 years change what they do for a living and what they have a heartfelt enthusiasm about. And some people keep it for life. That is amazing, and that's wonderful, but not everyone. And sometimes people change and they see things as, this is not important to me anymore. And so we have to go with that flow. We're on a path going up a mountain towards enlightenment. And if we just keep marching up this path and we don't change, we go straight to the summit, and some people do get to enlightenment on a straight path. That's no doubt about that. But most of us go on the switchbacks, on the slow process of getting up to the top of the summit. And during this process, I've changed here, I think in a different way now. I go, I think in a different way now. We make our way up to the top. And that is probably 99% of the people. Actually, only 3% of the people make it to the top, moving towards enlightenment. But in this lifetime, but in other lifetimes, eventually all of us make it to that summit. So it's about allowing ourselves to move through that path and allowing ourselves to have change happen. I was talking to someone the other day, and they said, I want to give and help people and make a difference. And I said, well, sometimes you have to give to yourself. Sometimes you have to, pack up your family and take them to Europe and allow them to experience other cultures. Sometimes that is more of a giving experience of helping people because your child is learning about different things and making a change in their mind, attitudes, and expressions of life than anything else. And I know for myself, doing traveling has expanded my way of thinking, and because not everybody thinks and lives like me. And so we have to see other cultures. We have to understand that we're not the only ones in this world, and we have different ways of living and different ways of thinking. And we have to allow ourselves to embrace all of those. But if we all always live in one little town in the middle of, somewhere, a lot of times that's not possible. I know in some Scandinavian countries they make the people leave for a few days every year. You have to go out and explore the world. You can go into the UK and see different cultures and different things, and I think that's a good thing. I think it's really important that we allow ourselves to not cement ourselves in anything until we understand that the whole world is very different from us. And then from there, we can grow as people. And as with Jesus and Buddha and Krishna, a lot of them were wandering minstrels. Jesus vanished for 33 years. 30. I think it was 20 something years. I can't remember. But he was wandering. And Buddha wandered for many, many years, going from place to place, talking, and many of the others also. And so they all got to experience different cultures. And I think that's very, very important. If we want to expand our consciousness, we have to allow ourselves to expand what we're taking in. And if we're exposed to the same old thing day in and day out, we don't grow as people. And so it's really important that we get out and have new experiences. I know every time that we travel, we don't travel as much as we used to because now we're on Social Security, but it really opened my mind to new and exciting things. And that's what life is all about, learning. And if we become a lifelong learner, not of looking in a book, but a lifelong learner of life itself, and we expose ourselves to different things, and we understand different cultures, and we understand different ways of living, and we see different art forms and music, and understand different ways of speaking and talking, and it is really enriching. And it enriches not only our mind, but also our heart. And we start to embrace other cultures and understand other cultures and make a change in who we are deep down inside. And I think that's really, really important. And I think it's really important for young people to allow themselves to find what passion they have deep down inside. And maybe take a year, maybe take 6 months, maybe take 3 months, or even a month, and go, and wander and find out what's important to them. Sometimes we become stagnant otherwise. So I said to this man, what makes you tick? What would you do for free? What would you do that's so important to you that you would do it no matter what, even if the chips were down? And really, there was nothing. And so how is he supposed to inspire other people who's writing? It's not going to happen. So we have to find that which makes us excited about life. We really do. We have to go out and explore it. And we have to allow ourselves to let go of things. And, he had a house and he wanted to sell it. At the same time, it wasn't worth much, but he wasn't willing to let it go. So sometimes we have to let go of things in order to, especially material attachments, in order to grow as people. Our growth as a person is more important than material objects. Even things like houses, we can be attached to them, but even cars and all kinds of things, they are not the soul. We have to enrich our soul. That's the important thing. And then when we let go of those attachments, we start to grow in our heart. And we start to see huge changes happen. I remember one time I had so many Christmas ornaments that it took like 12 boxes, these big plastic totes, to put them in. And one time I moved and I decided, I got to lighten my load. This is just dragging me. So I donated them to a church for their a sale that they were having, a rummage sale they were having, and that was very difficult for me to let all those ornaments I had collected for years, let them go. And but at the same time, it was freeing. I remember sitting there and crying, but afterwards I felt lighter. So some of these experiences are powerful, but make us grow as human beings. And now everything that I own could be put in one little tiny suitcase, which would be important to me. None of the material things are important. So if we're going to have passion, we're going to have excitement about life, we're going to inspire other people, and we want to do what we like to do, we have to allow ourselves to let go of some things. And sometimes that's difficult. So allow yourselves to grow. Allow yourself to follow your passion. But first of all, you got to find your passion, which lies in your heart with God. I love you. Remember, if you care to subscribe, that's wonderful. I appreciate that. If you want to get a hold of me, click on Show More. It's down below, and you'll find all my contact information. If you care to make a donation, I really appreciate that. We live on Social Security. So have a wonderful day, and remember, again, I love you.